Welcome to the first town hall meeting for the Healthy Campus Plan for our downtown community. We have to start with some official business, as this is a specially called meeting of the Board of Commissioners. And with that, Carol, would you?
You are hereby notified that I have called a special session of the Unified Government of Wyandotte County, Kansas City, Kansas, to be held Thursday, May 8, 2014 at 5:30 p.m. in the Commission Chambers of the Municipal Office Building for a kickoff of the Downtown Healthy Campus Implementation Plan. Roll call: Kane. Here. Markley. Here. Walters. Philbrook. Here. Walker. Here. Townsend. Here. McKiernan. Murguia. Here. Maddox. Here. Holland. Here.
Welcome again. My name is Rob Richardson. I'm the Director of Planning for the Unified Government. And tonight I have the pleasure of introducing the mayor of our community, Mark Holland, who has done a significant amount of work raising private funds to fund a planning effort to improve the health of our community and our downtown neighborhood. And with that, he has some things he'd like to say this evening.
Well, I want to start by thanking everyone for being here. This is a tremendous turnout, and I think it speaks to both the need and the interest, and to the concern. And so we want to address all of that tonight. To give you a preview, Gould Evans, which is an architectural firm, we will be walking us through their town hall meeting, which is a way of gathering input from everyone here. Your input matters, and we want to make sure that your voice is heard on the topics that are important to you. So there are going to be opportunities. There's going to be breakout sessions. If you look on your name tag, you have numbers on it. There are going to be breakout sessions and opportunities. There are going to be note takers in every small group, and there will be folks making sure that your comments are recorded and that your input is heard tonight. Because we're going to do a few minutes of presentation here, and then we're going to break into the small groups, and they're going to facilitate some conversations to make sure that everyone's input is there. I want to start off by thanking a few people. I want to start by thanking my team in the mayor's office. We've been working very hard on this on a lot of different levels, and my team has been tremendous in getting this done. I want to thank Healthy Communities Wyandotte. I'll say more about them, but we have a hard-working group that's been working the last 5 years on improving the health rankings and the health status of everyone in Wyandotte County. I want to thank the UG staff. This is no small undertaking with this size crowd and the amount of interest we have in this, that it's taken a lot of people to get us to this point today. So I want to thank the UG staff for all of that work. I also want to thank a number of our community partners. All of these are folks we are talking with. Some of these have formalized relationships, some do not. But we want to thank the YMCA. We want to thank Healthy Communities, Robert Wood Johnson Foundation, Wyandotte Health Foundation, KU Med, the Archdiocese, Wyandotte Inc., KCK Community College, the Health Foundation of Greater Kansas City, Reach Health Foundation. We want to thank LISC and the District 500, Gould Evans. We have a lot of the Housing Authority. We have a lot of groups here who are at the table talking about what might be. And so that's what we wanted to do. But before anything is decided, and I will say this, there is some vision and some direction. But we wanted to make sure we heard from the community before the first shovel full of dirt is turned. So you are on the ground floor in terms of getting the information in for the feedback that we need in order for this to be successful. I also want to thank the commissioners for your leadership moving this forward, and I'll talk a little bit more about that in a minute, but I do appreciate your being here and your commitment to healthy communities as well. Most of all, I want to thank the community and for all the folks in the neighborhood groups who live, work, and play in Wyandotte County and who make this the best place to live in the world. And I'm proud to be here, and I know you're proud of your community as well. And it's a delight to have us together so we can talk about a vision for downtown. And finally, I want to come back to, as I've shared this vision of a healthy campus with a number of people, shared it with LISC, the Reach Foundation, and Greater Kansas City Health Foundation. All three of those groups said, this sounds great, but we think there needs to be a master plan or an implementation plan to make sure that we get this healthy campus right, and that work needs to have that grassroots input, it needs to have the commission input, it needs to have the whole community's input. And those three groups stepped forward and contributed $115,000 towards the master planning process for Gould, and we were able to let an RFP, a request for proposals, and let companies from across the country bid to plan this project for us. And our Gould Evans won that RFP, and we'll be hearing from them in a little bit in terms of how they're going to walk us through this process. But I'm very excited and want to thank LISC, REACH, and the Greater Kansas City Health Foundation for their contribution. I'm going to give you a couple of quick overview of some of the work we've been doing with Healthy Communities Wyandotte. In 2009, you might remember that the Kansas Health Institute participated in a national study doing county-by-county health rankings. In that study, the Wyandotte County was ranked 105th out of 105 counties in Kansas in overall healthiness. They used about 40 different criteria to come to that decision. And when we looked at that data, obviously we're all disappointed and stunned. But under the leadership of Mayor Reardon, he pulled together himself and three commissioners to start looking at what kind of response we could have to this difficult news. And so we began with three community conversations, one with a lot of the kind of CEOs of our healthcare providers in the community, of leaders in the community, and grassroots town hall meetings back in 2009. And many of you participated in those very first conversations in terms of getting our head around healthy communities. Out of that conversation came Healthy Communities Wyandotte that has 5 focus areas, and you see those up on the bottom of this slide. Communication, to get the word out about healthy communities and the things that we can do to improve the overall health. Education, and not just education about health, but education generally, because one of the things that correlates with health is educational attainment. And we know that people who graduate from high school have better health outcomes in their lives than people who do not. And people who graduate from college have better health outcomes than people that do not. That educational attainment matters to people's overall health. So having an education component of Healthy Communities Wyandotte is very important, and we have buy-in from all of the schools, public and private, in our community who are helping with that initiative. Also, the infrastructure. Healthy infrastructure includes complete streets. It was early in 2010, right after that study came out, that the commission unanimously adopted a complete street ordinance, which provides when we redo a street, we also are doing sidewalks and bike lanes to make sure that the street is complete. Particularly when we have a high usage of public transportation in our community, we need to make sure people can walk safely to the bus stop and throughout our community. It's also good for healthy living. How many of you have driven down State Avenue recently to see the improvements down there? It looks tremendous. Parallel looks great all the way to 5th Street. State Avenue is being completely redone. I remember when women would be pushing their strollers down the median on State Avenue because it was the only paved place to walk. Very dangerous situation. Now we have sidewalks on both sides, great upgrades, but it's the kind of street that we need to build throughout our community and continue to push that forward. Infrastructure also includes bike trails, bike paths. You'll see a lot more striping on our streets that have bike lanes in it to encourage people to ride their bikes and to help educate drivers to be mindful of bikes as they ride. It's a great healthy opportunity for transportation with the bike lanes. Also for trails, having places to walk that are well lit and safe that people can use are a great amenity to help with property values, and they're also a great healthy living choice. One of the initiatives we're also working on is the opening of our levee bike trails, hike and bike on our levees. Manhattan, Lawrence, Topeka, Parkville, everyone else can walk on their levees but Kansas City, Kansas. We intend to change that. And so we're working on opening that. That's part of this initiative as well. The Nutrition Action Team, access to healthy foods. In the last 5 years, we've opened the first 5 new grocery stores in Wyandotte County in 30 years. We have food deserts around our community. We're opening new grocery stores to address those. And we need a new grocery store in some more other parts of our area, and I'm going to talk about more of that tonight. But it also includes community gardens. It includes access to fruits and vegetables. It includes a lot of the different components for access to healthy food, for nutrition for our community. Also, health services, access to health care. Kansas City, Kansas, Wyandotte County has 5% of the state's population and 10% of the uninsured. The Affordable Care Act has the ability to cut that number in half. The expansion of Medicaid would cut that number in half again. We made a major rollout in our community of the Affordable Care Act and the need to enroll our citizens. My office, the health department, Healthy Communities, Wyandotte, all partnered together to make sure we enrolled as many people in Kansas City, Kansas as we possibly could. The result of that was tremendous. In fact, we were one of 2 cities in Region 7 of Health and Human Services. There are 8 regions. Region 7 only had 2 communities recognized for going above and beyond on the Affordable Care Act. One was St. Louis and one was Kansas City, Kansas. We had a tremendous response from the people. And I commit to you, I have said it everywhere I've gone, we have to expand Medicaid in Kansas. We have to offer health care to the poorest members of our community. It is outrageous that the Affordable Care Act helps this group of people in income, but the people even poorer than that still don't have access. And so we have a need to expand Medicaid in Kansas, and the Access to Healthcare Task Force is one of the groups that is going to help make that happen. So that's the overview of Healthy Communities Wyandotte. That's been operating for the last 5 years and working in terms of improving the overall health. So in 2 unrelated stories, the Downtown Task Force for Grocery Stores, which I've been on for 3 years, asked Associated Wholesale Grocers to vet sites downtown. We paid them to do a study. And you know what they did is they studied the Northeast, and they found out, they made an amazing discovery. Are you sitting down? They discovered that the people in our community are buying groceries. What? They also discovered they're not buying groceries in Kansas City, Kansas. They're buying north of the river, they're buying them east of the river, they're buying them in Johnson County, they're not buying them in Wyandotte County. So Associated Wholesale Grocers vetted a number of sites, and they came to the best site that they thought a grocery store downtown could be sustainable, that would serve the Northeast area, which was around 10th and State, around Big 11 Lake. In an unrelated story, the YMCA downtown, the 8th Street Y, is a 100-year-old building. We're one of 5 communities in the nation that still has a 100-year-old YMCA. There were 30-some of these built 100 years ago, and most cities have moved on from those facilities, but we still have ours. It's a great building that will be something exciting one day, but it shouldn't probably be a YMCA anymore. That YMCA is outlived its usefulness, and it's not sustainable. So the Y undertook a study 2 years ago, and they're going to talk a little bit about this, and they vetted 5 sites downtown of where they could build a new downtown Y that would be sustainable. And they found a site at 10th and State near Big 11 Lake. As we looked at this last summer, I started to think if 2 different groups separately came together and looked at a site, a location where there's good synergy. And what's great about the 10th and State area is it's a great nexus in our community. To the south of that is a large Latino population. To the north of that's a large African American population. To the west is all residential, and to the east is all commercial. This site for both of those operations offers the most sustainable opportunity. As I looked at that, I thought, why don't we talk about a healthy campus? Because Big 11 Lake is great green space. We need to expand that green space. Waterway Park and Big 11 Lake used to be connected. Did you know that? In the 1920s, it was one big park, which is why it's named Waterway, though there's no water, right? But in the 1929, when the Great Depression hit, the city filled it in. And so now the only remnant of that is Big 11. What if we expanded the green space? What if we expanded the green space all the way up near Sumner Academy? What if we looked at a green belt downtown that would build value? And what about a new housing component? We need new housing downtown. There's a lot of infill housing we need to do. There might be opportunities for multifamily housing. But we can't do all of that without a master plan that's going to work. As we talked about the downtown campus, we started reaching out to partners and started asking questions. The School for the Blind was very interested. They're across the street. They would rather invest in a new Y than invest in their little cement pond in their basement, so that their kids can have a full-service community center that they could use. Went to the school district and started talking to Dr. Lane and said, what are the possibilities of building a natatorium, a tournament natatorium, so Kansas City, Kansas could host swim meets? Kansas City, Kansas hadn't been able to host a swim meet in years for lack of facilities for our swim teams. They're thinking about that and talking about it and seeing what that might look like. But Dr. Lane, as she always does, I have all these great ideas, and then Dr. Lane takes it up another level. And she says, well, what if we taught every child how to swim? The number 2 cause of death among urban children is drowning, largely because there's not access to swimming facilities or opportunities to learn how to swim. If we could teach every child how to swim, what if we incorporated that into the curriculum of our 2nd grade PE classes and taught every kid in District 500 how to swim? What a great opportunity that might be. So we're talking about possibilities there, though no decision has been made. But we also took this conversation to the commission last summer and said, if we're going to build a new downtown community center that would be run by the Y, it's going to take about $12 million, and we don't have $12 million. We're going to need to raise a lot of that from the philanthropic community. But this commission stepped forward and unanimously voted to lead the way by committing $6 million towards the $12 million cost of a new community center. And that money is earmarked. When Hollywood Casino came in out west, they designated 1% of their revenue for community purposes, in addition to the $500,000 grants they give out as well. They do the $500,000 in grants and another 1% that they're giving to community purposes. The commission dedicated $6 million of that directly to this community center so that we need a signature center downtown where people downtown can see, touch, and feel the benefit of the growth out west. Because I hear all the time that it's great what's happening out west, but we need more downtown. And that's absolutely true. And this new community center, as well as the new grocery store, together represent about a $30 million capital investment in downtown. And I don't want to just build a grocery store. I don't just want to build a community center. I want to build a city and rebuild a part of the city that has been struggling for generations. And if we can invest this $30 million to grow this campus and have an impact to change the dynamic in downtown, where more businesses will want to come and co-locate, where more people will want to live and will want to raise their families, where we can build a safer, stronger community. That's the vision of this healthy campus. It's more than the component parts. It has to be more than the component parts, because the synergy of this campus has the opportunity where 1 + 1 can equal much more than 2. And if we don't get to that level of synergy, then I think we're selling ourselves short in terms of what we can do. We're going to talk about the issues today, and we want your input on the issues around the community center. One of the primary place we're looking right now is at the JFK Center. The JFK Center is 15,000 square feet of built environment. The JFK Center is a critical part of our downtown for our community. And I fought hard, I know Commissioner Maddox fought hard in his first year here, to reopen JFK. It had been closed for years, and fought to open it, and was able to open it in his first year on the commission. I think that opening, and I know Mr. Owens led that effort as well for years. Yes, Mr. Owens finally got sick and tired of being sick and tired and opened and worked. And we were very proud to finally open JFK again for the community operations. One of the things that we need to guarantee as we move forward with a community center, it will be a community center. We need to make sure that we guarantee access of the community to the component parts that are essential to the community now. That's the feedback we need to get from you tonight. We want to make sure that the services that are offered now continue to be offered, and that the access for the community groups, for the kids, is there. But I want to say this about JFK. For all the importance that JFK does, I want more for our kids and for our seniors. I want a larger facility. I want water. I want a swimming environment where the kids can play. I want a track where seniors can walk indoors year-round, where it's safe and lighted. I want the kind of facilities that allow our community to thrive. And I want to be able to utilize the assets in our community to take it even to another level, to really benefit our community fully. I believe that our kids deserve the very best, and I believe our community deserves the very best. And I believe we can build the very best working together to work through it. And that's why I commend this meeting tonight to you, because this meeting tonight is about the community coming together in groups to talk about the different issues that are relevant to everybody, so every voice is heard and every idea is on paper, and that the commissioners can look at that feedback and make the best decisions moving forward as we plan this healthy campus. So what I want to do now is I want to turn it over to David Byrd. He's the Executive Director and President of the YMCA of Greater Kansas City. There are a lot of communities that are working in partnership with the Y. There aren't any YMCAs being built across the country that aren't being done in partnership. North of the river, Platte County just built 2 new YMCAs, and they've contracted with the YMCA to run those. There are communities across the country. I want an operator who has good experience operating an urban Y that has the amenities and the access that our people need. And I believe they're the right partner. And I'm going to ask David Byrd to come up and share a few of his slides with us tonight. He's going to take a few minutes. Let's give a hand to Mr. Byrd.
Well, thank you. On behalf of our board of directors and our staff, we're very appreciative and grateful for this opportunity, Mayor and Commission, to be with you tonight, and very, very exciting conversation as we think about this new Healthy Living Wellness Campus with Community Center YMCA included. About 2 years ago, we launched a citywide effort to talk to the community about what might be interested to go in this community center. We want to share some of the results of that with you. We actually launched this in January 2012. It would include a full-service facility, and I'm going to share some of those pieces of that dream in a few minutes. We actually talked to just over 800 people that lived and worked in and around the downtown area within a 7-minute drive time. As the mayor said, we tested 5 sites. You heard about the site that tested the number 1, which basically means if you build it with certain kinds of programs and services, they will come, and in fact, they said they would come in massive numbers. So I'll talk about that in just a second. 95% valid. When you do these kind of tests, we do it a third-party outside resource that did this, so not anybody with the YMCA, to assure the validity of that study. And it proved out to have about 2,300 memberships, which would represent, in our numbers, about 10,000 people. So that would be incredible impact throughout the greater Kansas City downtown area related to KC. Mark, if you want to turn that just a second. Community assets. We ask what were the strongest community assets. It's people, it's neighbors, it's friends, it's churches ranked very strong, schools ranked very strong, stores and shopping, YMCA, diversity, police and fire all also ranked very strong in our study. Mark? Some of the concerns we heard, probably to no surprise, crime was one of the top of the list. There was a huge demand for children and youth activities. What are our kids doing in our neighborhoods before and after school and having facilities? Housing and abandoned housing was of concern. Stores and more stores, better, cleaner streets, sidewalks, and education in schools were expressed as concerns as well. And I'm giving this to you all high level. There was a lot of backup documentation that reflected this. So here's what that 800 group of individuals told us they would want in a new community center. And I'm going to show you some early renderings of what might go into this as part of this wellness, healthy living campus. They wanted community rooms. Where do we gather? How do we gather? Where do we meet? We'd like to have opportunities for gathering. We'd want a full-service gymnasium where our kids can be off the street, where we can have leagues and tournaments around the city to offer those activities. The mayor talked about an indoor walking track for healthy living so people could gain good exercise. Indoor water. So we would actually talk about potentially having 2 pools in this, where you'd have a warm water pool for those that had arthritic or mobility conditions or special needs, someone that had the interest to get in that might have just had a disability. We also would love to see a full-service lap pool and opportunity, as we referred to teaching second graders to swim. When I was in Nashville several years ago, I lost a young child to accidental drowning, and it was an urban child. And so, Mayor, I echo that concern that it is so needed, and to hear us talk about that is really one of my personal passions for these urban children. Indoor competition lap pool I referred to. Cardiovascular equipment, that would be your bikes and your Stairmasters and your treadmills to be a part of. Strength training equipment, an intergenerational room that would serve both teenagers as well as active older adults and our seniors throughout KCK. A teaching kitchen, so we can actually help people that are dealing with diabetes, people that are dealing with special issues. How do we teach how to cook the proper way and buy food the proper way in partnership with the grocery store? group exercise and saunas and steams, and would have full facilities. Mark, you can see some of the other kind of programs that that 800 told us. We're particularly excited about some of the work around arthritis, some of the work around medical wellness programs. We'd love to see a medical wellness partner in here so kids could potentially go get inoculations, or you could get your cholesterol checked in and around this facility. Diabetes, we all know some of the statistics around diabetes and how so many people throughout this country today is dealing with diabetes. Swim lessons, I already referred to that. Beginner exercise program, how do we start people out the right way and so they understand the proper way to have a good, healthy living program. Health education classes, back to our community room so we could have that available. Cardiac rehab even, personal training for people that need a little more attention. Lots of activities around seniors, senior exercise programming, senior water aerobic classes, nutrition classes, all those based on what, again, that 800 people told us. Now, we could have talked to a lot more, but that's what that sampling gave us as early returns. These are some of the visions of what a new YMCA looked like today, or new community center. This would be a welcome center that would have a very open, spacious lobby in it. You could come, it would have Wi-Fi. We see nutrition in there. We see a snack bar in there. We see the possibility of partner with doing your own healthy living there, a commons area. We're particularly excited about some of our kids' spaces that would have child watch. So if grandmother was bringing their grandchild in to have an activity, they could have availability on the child watch, and a new kids' adventure zone for activity around that work going on. You see the teaching kitchen here. How do I buy groceries properly? How do I teach and educate my family properly around eating? So a nutritionist possibly on our staff as part of that. You see a large community room that we could gather. We could have a meeting like this in the new community center for sure. One of my favorites, a teen center. Getting our teens in areas in focus. Be a lot of activity around that, places they can hang out, places that we can have special activity, get them involved in our community throughout those times. I talked about the aquatics. You can see the pools. We see a slide in here for recreational family activity and a lap pool, and then a double gymnasium with a walking track above it, similar to what we have in 8th Street, but much larger in scope. You can see the wellness equipment to help your cardiovascular programming, and you can see the track, 3 to 4 lane track that would be above that gymnasium that people could walk on. A full, nice new locker room to be able to dress, and would have amenities for showers and your saunas and steams and possibly massage services there. Intergenerational services so that seniors and teens can coexist in spaces. We also have the opportunity to serve out of that space as well. You can see some of the class spaces, everything from the Pilates to the yoga to the movement education classes, and would have every kind of fitness kind of piece of equipment that we could service for families, children, and adults. This facility, we have not deemed what the square footage would be, but it would be a very modern, very relevant facility that would be tied into opportunities to serve with the grocery store, with the school, and the other partners that the mayor talked about. We're very, very excited about this. This truly can make a huge difference in this area of healthy living that the mayor talked about, and our greater Kansas City wide and right here in Wyandotte County, we're very committed to it. So thank you, Mayor. Thanks for the partnership. I know I only had a short period of time, and I'll stop there. Thanks.
Thank you, Mr. Byrd. I was telling Mr. Banks on the mayor's staff, I think I'm going to use the mayor's letterhead to send meeting notices in the future. It's very effective. This is one of the largest public meetings for a great cause that we've had in a long time. I want to take just a moment and introduce our consulting team staff, because you all will see them throughout this process. First, with Gould Evans, Dennis Strait. He's a principal with Gould Evans. And Jim Schrader, vice president with Gould Evans, helped some of you sign in. And Graham Smith is the Director of Urban Planning for Gould Evans. Some of you may remember back in 2007 when we started this master planning process for the whole community that we hadn't done in a very long time. And the first part of that was a downtown master plan. You can see on the screen the results of that. We talked in that master plan about several key things, about connectivity, about sidewalks and trails, quality buildings, urban density development so that we could have more retail services around us, more open space, and quality design features. And since that time, I know downtown is can be a slow-moving vehicle, but we have had some great wins. We've had the new transit center and the new streetscape along Minnesota Avenue that we're about to continue and do some more streetscape with with the new project there. The Children's Campus is an iconic building with what I will say is the best streetscape in Kansas City metro area. It is a great, walkable, urban, inviting streetscape. And on the transportation side, we've even had wins with KDOT and how they are going to address Kansas City when the intercity viaduct is rebuilt, and agreements with them to do that in a quality way that will be an inviting entrance into our community. So we are building from this plan, and I get the interesting job of talking about the schedule, so I'm going to try and make this exciting for you. We're meeting tonight in May in a town hall fashion, and we're going to in a few minutes, break out with you all and go through quite a series of questions in a fairly short amount of time. And then our consulting team, working with the mayor, and will go through that and develop strategies and implementation plans and alternatives over the summer. And in August, we will come back to you. We will invite, if you gave us your information tonight, you will regularly get information from us throughout the summer on the progress of the plan. And we will come back to you in August and let you know where we have taken the information that you gave us this evening to develop a plan to implement a healthy campus for downtown. With that, I'm going to introduce Dennis Strait with Gould Evans, and he is going to talk about some more details of the planning process. Thank you, Dennis.
Okay. It is great to see the turnout tonight. That's a testament to the importance of this project. And what we wanted to do before we break out into the small groups is to give you an idea about the kinds of questions we're going to be asking, so you can start to think about the input that you can provide us tonight, because that's a very important part of our being able to take the idea for a healthy campus forward. So 50 years ago, the downtown area was the center for the community. It was really a community center because there was something for everybody downtown. There was a place to go shopping, a place for doing business, a place for banking, a place for dining, a place for entertainment. Over the years, we've lost all those reasons for people to come downtown and to become a community together in a central community center. And this project is that opportunity for us to reverse that process and to create a new way, a new reason for people to start to come back together in the downtown area. So as we're starting to rethink the opportunities for making the downtown area a community center, we want to think about how to give it a new identity with this opportunity that's been given to us for thinking about it as the center for the healthy campus in the community. So as we think about creating this new place, we want to find as many different things that we can put into this one place as possible that can be as attractive to as many different people as possible, so we get as much community there. Because that's what really makes it a true community center, when we have things that are appealing and attractive and useful to the broadest cross-section of the community. The other thing is that we need to have a place that's recognizable and identifiable. So one of the great things that we have to work with is the fact that our site that we've identified is right around an already recognized part of town with the amenity that is Big 11 Lake and the park around Big 11 Lake. So if you know, on our map that's up here, you can see the downtown area in blue and the surrounding neighborhoods in the gold color. And then the white box indicates the zone of the west end of downtown that we're focusing on for this healthy campus. And right in the center of that zone is Big 11 Lake. So, for example, as we're talking tonight, we want to think about how we can leverage the lake and the park as an important part of this new center. How can we use that facility as a focus for the healthy campus? What other things could we build here or provide here or do here that would help both the idea of reinforcing this as the focus for a healthy community in KCK and Wyandotte County, but also how can we make it recognizable as a special thing within the downtown area? So some of the things we've already talked about tonight are great new moves that are going to take us forward and help catalyze a new center for activity within this new healthy campus. So in addition to having Big 11 Lake as a place, we're going to add to that all the great amenities that David just talked about that the new community center could bring. And it's not just the amenities that'll be valuable to this new activity center in downtown, but it's also all the programming that center will provide. That'll be an important part of the new vitality of this central area. The next thing is the opportunities that having the new grocery store downtown and in this part of the new healthy campus. The obvious thing is just having the grocery store downtown means we're going to be generating a lot of traffic to this part of downtown, which is great. That's what we want to do, is to create a lot of activity and vitality, and the grocery store itself will be a great draw. But what else can we do to augment the grocery store as an amenity to make it more valuable to the broader community? So as we're talking tonight, the things we want to think about is we have those two great opportunities. We have the community center and all the programming and the amenities and facilities it's going to provide. We have the services and the amenities that are going to be provided by the new grocery store. What other things should we be thinking about that would help to make this a more vital center, a more useful place that would be more attractive and would bring together, again, the broadest cross-section of the community? As we're thinking about this downtown campus, we need to think about how it connects to the broader community. Rob mentioned some of that out of the downtown plan, the whole idea of having connectivity. Particularly for the healthy campus, that connectivity is important, that it be walkable, so that from the downtown area, from surrounding communities, it's real easy to walk and get to this campus. Bikeways and having bike access is another important part of the theme of creating a healthy idea and a healthy identity for the new campus. So making sure that we have established bikeways and it's easy for people to come and go on foot and on bike to this new campus. And then, of course, we still need to have this place be easily accessible by car and by bus. And what that brings along is the importance that we think about how to make all that come together in a safe way, because our primary focus is going to be on making this a safe place for people. So we need cars in order to have the ability to bring a large number of people to the new amenities that we're going to be establishing here. But we also need to do that in a safe way, so that primarily we're worried about making this a safe and easy place for people to get to. And then the connection to the surrounding neighborhoods. We need to understand what the opportunities are with this new idea about the healthy campus and what the challenges might be. The more we can hear about the issues that the community is confronting today and anticipates with going forward with the opportunities for the plan, the more we can react to those in this planning process. We want to hear about what concerns you have currently, what concerns you have that you think we might be able to address with this new opportunity of the healthy campus, and we also want to hear about, again, those opportunities. In what ways can the surrounding neighborhoods help make this a center for health and health consciousness in KCK? What roles do the schools play? What roles can the church community play? What roles can the downtown community play, and vice versa? And to what degree can this new healthy campus help to vitalize the retail and other businesses that are already in the downtown area? So all those things are things we want to hear about today, and our goal is to take an important step forward so that this is the beginning of reestablishing the downtown as an overall central place for our community. With that, I'm going to hand it back to the mayor for a special announcement.
All right, thank you very much. I do want to recognize we have a number of elected officials who are here in the room tonight, and I want to thank all of you for being here. I do think I'd like to make a special recognition of former Representative Dennis Moore, who is here tonight, a longtime champion for Wyandotte County. And his wife, Stephanie Moore, is working for Health and Human Services and has been a great partner in this. So thank you, Stephanie, for being here as well. So we knew when we committed to building a community center, and the commission made it very clear that we wanted to use the commission's investment in a new community center to leverage the philanthropic community. And we have a special announcement tonight, and I'm going to invite Bill Epperheimer, who is the executive director of the Wyandotte Health Foundation, to come forward for a special announcement.
everyone. Welcome to the healthy version of happy hour. I'm Bill Epperheimer. I'm President and CEO of the Wyandotte Health Foundation. And for those of you who are not familiar with the foundation, it was formed 17 years ago using proceeds from the sale of Bethany Medical Center. Its mission is to improve the health of local citizens through grants and collaborative efforts. We are a 501c3 private foundation governed by a volunteer board of directors. Two of the officers of the board who guide my work and make the important decisions are here tonight. Leon Logan, a longtime KCK public accountant, is chairman of the board, just beginning his tenure after serving many years as our finance committee chairman. And Dr. Ray Daniels is the immediate past chairman, having served 4 years in that position. You may know him as a very active community volunteer and the retired superintendent of USD 500. Please help me applaud. Since 1998, the foundation has made grants of more than $30 million at the rate of approximately $2 million per year right here in Wyandotte County. In keeping with our mission, the majority of those amounts have gone to safety net clinics who provide health services to poor and uninsured families. All of us at the foundation are proud of the work that we have done for better health to keep alive the Bethany tradition of serving the poor. Tonight, we open a new chapter in the foundation book by revealing the greatest single grant commitment in our history. It is my honor and privilege to announce that the Foundation Board of Directors has unanimously voted to commit $1 million to support the development of a new community center and the Healthy Campus concept of improving health through prevention. We are pleased that the Unified Government Commissioners have earmarked $6 million for the Community Center, and we hope our gift will serve as a catalyst for other, much larger philanthropic foundations to join us in improving the health of those in the older areas of the city. Thank you.
I've had the opportunity to follow a lot of things, but not the donation of $1 million to such a worthy cause. Well, now it's time for us to work with you more directly. We have a group of folks that are going to be facilitators, both in this room and out in the lobby, and Graham Smith with Gould Evans is going to give us some direction on how to get to the appropriate group.
Thanks, Rob. So tonight, when you all came into the room, you all signed in, and most of you got a name tag. On that name tag, there is a number. So if you would look at your number, and then we're going to assign you to a different breakout group. We have 4 groups out in the lobby, and 2 groups are going to stay in here. You'll see the big notepad with the number on it. Those are the group numbers. So your name tag should correspond with that group number. If you have a number 1, you're going to go with Bernard Franklin. Where did he go? There he is in the back of the room. And you're going to head out to the group number 1, which is in the far northwest corner of the lobby there. If you have a number 2 on your name tag, you're going to go with Rob Richardson, and you're going to be in the north central area of the lobby. Group 3 is with Gordon Criswell over here, and you're going to be in the northeast side of the lobby. And then if you're number 4, you're going with Stephen Samuels, who's right here. And yeah. and you're going to be right outside these doors here. Number 5, you're going to go with Dennis Strait, and it's right over here on this side. And number 6, you're going to go with Joe Connor, right here in the back of the room, and you'll be right over here. So if you have a number 6, you can stay there. Number 5, stay there. If you don't have a name tag and you have no number, you are going to go with Jim Schrader and myself up to the 5th floor, where there's a 7th breakout area, and we will be doing the exact same exercises that the groups down here will be doing, but we needed extra room, so we're going to take you all up there. You go to the next slide. We're gonna be in these groups for about 35 minutes, and then we're gonna consolidate the comments from each group, and we're gonna come back in here and report back. Oh, sorry, I didn't realize I had it.
I'd like to make a
Yep.
announcement. I would invite the commissioners, if you would like to join a group, you're welcome to. Otherwise, you're on recess for about 30 minutes until we close. Thank you.
And if you'll take your seats quietly, we're going to start our report back here. We're going to have, if I could get all of the group leaders to be up here on the podium so we can move through this quickly. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and begin, so if we could take seats quietly. Each of our group leaders is going to talk about 3 to 5 of the key components that came out of their group discussion. And the way we're going to do this, we're going to talk about 3 to 5 of the key things that came out of the discussion, and then if you signed in tonight and gave us your email or your address, we will bullet point everything from every group, and we're going to send all those ideas out to everyone so that everyone has a full idea of what happened. But just so you get a flavor of it, we're going to start this evening with each of us that led a group talking about a couple of the key things, and then we will get all of the bullet points out to everyone in a couple of weeks once we have a chance to get all of them transcribed and into a document. Since I'm here and keeping with good use of our time, I was group number 2, and one of the key things that came out of our group was using neighborhood people as part of the process, and not just the planning process, but it might be a cooking instructor, it might be a baseball coach, it might be some other facet, but neighborhood people living, working, volunteering, and being part of the process from start to finish. That was probably the key thing that came out of it. Another key factor was being well lit and safe. If we're going to be out and about in our downtown, we want it to be well lit and safe. And the third thing I would say is that we want our community to be a mix of housing incomes, not just low-income folks, not just senior folks, not just young folks, but we want to have a real community where we can all live, work, and play together. And we want to have great connectivity and the ability to get around downtown and connect into our neighborhoods and our schools, our libraries, our public facilities. And we had some way out stuff too. We thought about a Minneapolis-style overhead walkway downtown, so when it's cold out, we don't have to do that. So there was a range of ideas in our group. So next, I'll turn it over to Graham.
So I got my notes. So our group, we prioritized 6 things. The first one was access to the facilities, not just by car, but by bike and transit and good sidewalk network. And not just for a certain group, but for all people, whether it's kids, adults, seniors, everybody should have access to all the facilities. And then creating facilities for training and education events. So not only providing things for people to do there, but also places for people to learn. Connecting, as we're planning this out, they wanted us to remember to connect to the existing community assets, whether it's the schools, the churches, the history of the area, the topography of the area, the lake, all those things, connect the development to the existing assets. This one probably got more play than anything, but it was about right-sizing the facility. So make it the right size for people to use that will attract people to its use. Don't undersize it, don't oversize it, but right-size it. So I think we've got a big challenge ahead of us. So then safety and security also came up like Rob talked about, and then finally, be sensitive to the existing property owners as you go through the planning process and then also into implementation.
Ada is going to represent Mr. Samuel's group, and I'm going to play Vanna White for a minute.
Greetings to everyone. This is a great thing. When I heard about it, I had to reserve my space. In our group, we had big ideas and takeaways: affordable to free, some kind of a content pay or something of that. We make it affordable for all class groups that's going to be involved. Multicultural, definitely public transportation and access. I'm a bus driver, So, yeah, not driver, excuse me, rider. I might as well should be the driver if I tell them where to go. So, and then the safety and of course, lighting in there. I personally have a affiliation with the present group, the present, what's it called now? The community center at JFK in that area, and I personally walk the lake as well. And so to see something starting to take place that's going to be feasible going forward, yay, and I am a Y member, so. Thank you.
Gordon, you want to be next?
Yes, Vanna.
My group got away before we had a chance to summarize, so I will apologize in advance to group number 3 for sort of imposing what I think I heard you all say about the top 3 to 5 things. So overwhelmingly in our group, there was a discussion about, thank you, Ms. Banner. You're a better looking banner, but I can't read that now. Trust was a big concern. Trust and transparency of our community to actually do this, to do what we say we're going to do. There was a lot of expression about we've been let down time and time again, and so there's this notion of don't set us up to fail again. The next big one was affordability, and affordability, broadly speaking, means not only affordability of the access to the recreational facilities, affordability of food and fresh vegetables that are in a proposed grocery store, affordability of the other amenities that might go in the area. The third one was diversity of the communities. In other words, making sure that all of the voices in the community are heard about this notion. The fourth one was support of youth and children. And fifth, transformation of the vision, making sure that the space that is envisioned actually fits. We had some discussion that the footprint that's proposed with all of the things that are potentially being talked about might not fit into the space. Thank you, Banna.
Good evening. A couple of repeats. Trust was an issue for our group, and ditto to what was already said about that one. And then several people mentioned that we haven't maintained good community buildings that we already have. So a challenge is, are we going to maintain this one? So that was a lot of conversation there. Assets, jobs and employment, especially if we don't go after national chains and others, that we make sure that we include local entrepreneurs who can provide their own businesses. Big 11 Lake is an asset. And someone mentioned Charlie Parker was born near the Big Lake area, so we ought to take advantage and build a Charlie Parker music pavilion. Diversity has already been stated. Fitness, we suggested that we look at a soccer field and then have dance and massage in the building also. Food and grocery, clean, salad, pre-made, and lots of locally owned food. When we get to wants, make sure that we include culture. This is an ethnic diverse community, so make sure that it's diverse. We have museum space, music space, libraries, dance, and art walks. Consider bike trails. And then we talked about having a facility that made sure that we talked about having access for birth to death in the entire span. So we have everything there from early childhood, and we have everything there for seniors who need senior care, senior housing out, and things to do. And then finally, 24/7. Oh, solar, yes, I forgot that one. Make sure that we're solar, use solar, and that we're LEED certified building. Thank you.
Well, I want to really thank Group 6. Most of them are still over there. You guys did great. A lot of things have already been said, but I want to tack on a couple other things that Group 6 talked about. And in addition to a grocery store, they'd like to have the farmer's market attached to that or somewhere near. So we can take advantage of locally grown food, and we have a lot of different types of food being grown around here already, so let's take advantage of that. The one thing I thought was very astute was connectivity with existing plans. That was brought up. So the Douglas Sumner neighborhood, they have a plan for their neighborhood. Let's make sure that this Healthy Campus connects with that. If there's sidewalk plans and bike path plans, let's make sure that the Healthy Campus takes advantage of those plans. We don't operate in isolation, so let's keep those things connected. And the last thing that our group talked about is this is a nice big picture plan, but think even bigger. You know, the idea of connecting to Waterway Park and the idea of connecting to Sumner High School, let's start planning for that now. And let's build ball fields and soccer and futsal and everything else. So you have a little bit of everything to do, you know, in this whole Healthy Campus concept. Thank you very much. Thanks to Group 6.
Love that big thinking part. That's great. Our group had a range of things too, and we're getting to the point where we're repeating a number of things. But for example, with affordability and housing, making sure that we offer a broad range of housing, but always maintaining affordable and rental housing. Accessibility ranged from everything from concerns about the sidewalk network, where it's good along State Street or State Avenue, but needs to be better most everywhere else. So it's from that scale to the broader regional scale as this area starts to regrow and become reestablished, making sure that we have the right kind of transportation network so that all works with what we're planning, what we're trying to make here with the new center. And then financial sustainability was a comment in a number of ways from the group. And you've heard about that some already tonight, but the idea of not building more than we can afford to maintain. Because there are some examples that were pointed out about new infrastructure and new amenities that have been put into place that aren't being maintained. And we need to make sure we don't overreach our capabilities there. So thank you very much to our group. We had pages and pages of good input.
Well, from this point, we're going to, as I said before we started the wrap-up, that we will get all these comments bullet pointed and out to folks. We're going to take those, and the consulting team is going to work to form those into a plan over the summer. We will have some other communications with you through survey and other mechanisms to give some more input opportunity. And in August, we will have a meeting to come back to kind of show you where we've taken all the ideas that we've got tonight, because we got a lot. I think every group had 7, 8, 10 pages worth of ideas that we have to figure out how to work into a cohesive plan that is affordable, we can maintain, and all the other things that we said this evening. With that, Mayor, would you like to?
Well, I just want to say, when we first planned this, we hoped if we had 100 people come, we'd count it as a huge success. We counted over 270 people who came tonight, so give yourselves a hand. And I want to say, this is not the end of the conversation. This is the beginning of the conversation. And we need you to continue with us in this conversation throughout the process. This is the first piece in terms of getting the feedback in the community, in terms of what this Healthy Campus might be. But this is only the beginning. We will not build, one group will not build this. This is a community effort. If we're going to rebuild downtown Kansas City, Kansas, because I believe downtown is everybody's downtown, and Kansas City, Kansas deserves to have the best downtown in the region, and we're going to build it together. But we're going to do it together by staying together and continuing to be in dialogue, to continue to challenge one another, to continue to push one another. When there's agreement, we'll celebrate. When there's disagreement, we're going to work through it. But we're going to do it together as a community, and we're going to model for other urban areas. The model for this Healthy Campus is nothing short of a model for healthy living in an urban area. Because I believe if we can transform the healthy living in downtown Kansas City, Kansas, we can provide a model that you can change the healthy living anywhere in America. And you were a part of that today, and I want to thank you all personally for being here. I want to thank the Commission for your investment and interest in this, and continuing to walk on this journey with us. And I want to thank the staff, Gould Evans, everyone, the Y, everyone who's come here today to be a part of this conversation. This kind of dialogue is the model that's going to make our city great, and I thank you all for participating in it.
Well, our meeting is officially over, but before you get out of your seats, we have one other opportunity. Next week is National Women's Health Week, and the number one killer of women is heart disease and heart attack. Our fire department, in association with the KU Med Center, has been working for about 2 years on a Heart Safe program, which teaches a new way to do what we would call CPR that is more effective than what we learned 10 years ago or 20 years ago or 30 years ago. Most heart attacks happen in your home, so if you stay tonight to learn this, the person you save will probably be somebody that you love very much. And so if you want to stay, I know the commission, all the UG employees and all the commissioners have been through this. So if they get up and leave, don't think that they're abandoning you here alone, because they have taken this training. If it's not every UG employee, we're at 99.99% of UG employees taking this. So it will take about 20 minutes, and we have Kelly from the fire department is here. She's going to go through the training. And we would invite you to stay for a few minutes to save somebody's life. I understand if you can't, the hour is getting late, but please stay and take this opportunity. Okay. And just as you're leaving, we have some additional comment sheets on the tables if you would like those to give us additional comment you didn't get to give earlier. All right, come on. All right, there you go.
I think everybody's failing.
Okay, folks, if you're going to stay for the Heart Safe training, please come into the middle section here. If you're going to leave, please go ahead and continue your conversations out in the hall, but we hope several of you stay for this. It's great training. I would go ahead and just start talking.
Okay.
We'll leave and-
Okay.
You need a bottle of water or something?
Oh, no, I'm good. Thank you. Okay, is everybody ready to start? I know people shouldn't be leaving. This is important information. Okay. My name is Sarah Tufte. I'm an instructor, EMS instructor with the Kansas City, Kansas Fire Department. My voice can get lots louder. Okay, so everybody that wants to get the training, please have a seat. Absolutely. You deserve a reserved seat. Like I said, my name is Sarah Tufte. I'm one of the EMS instructors for the Kansas City, Kansas Fire Department in our training division. About a year and a half ago, we embarked on a journey of the Heart Safe Community Initiative. It all started with a brief conversation of how many people can we teach hands-only CPR? How many people don't know how to save a loved one? And it's so easy that we started training people. In the last year and a half, we've trained thousands. On May 17th at the Boy Scout Jamboree, we are about to teach, they're expecting 16,000 Boy Scouts. We are joining with the Heart of America Metro Chiefs Council and the Mid-America Regional Council. 47 fire departments and approximately 50 hospitals are joining us to go out and teach early heart attack care and hands-only CPR. So with that, I'm going to teach you how to save a life.
So we're going to talk briefly about what a heart attack is, a very elementary version of it. We're going to talk about the heart attack warning signs. We're going to talk about the importance of rapid treatment. This is calling 911 as soon as you start feeling any symptoms. We're going to talk about how to reduce your risk of a heart attack, and then I'm going to top it off with teaching you hands-only CPR in 3 easy steps. So heart disease is the #1 killer of Americans. It has been traditionally the #1 killer for years. We want to reduce this. It is also the #1 killer of women over trauma, over cancer, over all that. Coronary heart disease, which comes from blocked arteries, all that bad stuff we're eating, starts narrowing the arteries. This affects 17.6 million Americans every year. So from coronary artery disease can come a heart attack. That affects 1.2 million people every year in America. This is just America. These are huge numbers. Half of those people that have a heart attack, they're going to die from their episode. Half of those people, 300,000 of them, they're going to die before they even reach the ER. I'm here to reduce those numbers and teach you how to reduce those numbers. So heart attack, like I said, is the coronary arteries become blocked. So all that bad stuff that we do to our bodies, all that bad stuff we eat, starts narrowing the arteries. The blood can't flow through. The blood starts becoming backed up. Oxygen-rich blood can't hit the heart. This is what a heart attack is. So what stops a heart attack? This is acting quickly. We want you to know your body, know your norm. As soon as you start feeling that something isn't quite right, even if it doesn't match the symptoms we're about to talk about, we want you to call 911. We want you calling within 5 minutes of your symptoms starting. We want you at the hospital getting treatment within an hour of the symptoms starting. Dead heart muscle cannot be restored. So if that oxygen-rich blood is not reaching the heart muscle's dying. So I know you aren't going to know what these pictures are, but this is from a cath lab. These are actual films from one of our firefighters. The picture on the left where the arrow is, this is where he has a blocked artery. So you only see one squiggle of an artery there. He got to the hospital, he got the help he needed, and the picture on the right is the blood being restored to the heart. So heart attack warning signs. Somebody give me a heart attack warning sign, what they think is a heart attack warning sign. Shortness of breath. Chest pain. I'm sorry, what was the other one? In the arm, absolutely, left arm pain. Anybody else? Numbness, indigestion. Is that what you said? Absolutely. These are all textbook warning signs of a heart attack. So if somebody's experiencing chest pain, it doesn't even have to be pain. It can just be a discomfort. It can be feeling like heartburn. If you don't know, call 911. Shortness of breath, left arm pain, jaw pain, neck, back pain, nausea, vomiting. You guys hit almost every single one of those. Women present differently than men, traditionally. The #1 symptom that women complain of is fatigue. And this isn't the, it's 7:30 at night, I'm about ready to go to bed kind of fatigue. This is the, I feel like I'm walking through wet cement and I cannot take another step kind of fatigue. Women traditionally have indigestion, heartburn, back pain, nausea, vomiting. They don't traditionally complain of chest pain. So what is a heart attack really like? People expect it to be like what they see in the movies. Somebody's clutching their chest, they fall back on the ground, they start wiggling around. That's what they think it's supposed to look like. So they don't call because that's not what they're feeling. When in fact, the symptoms can start out very vague. They may come and go for a couple of days. People just aren't sure. They confuse their symptoms with diseases they may have. Oh, that left arm pain, I've got some arthritis. I think that's what it is. That nausea, vomiting, well, the flu's going around. That's what it is. I feel some heartburn. I'll just take an antacid. We don't want you to take the wait and see approach. People tend to, I'm going to pop a couple Tylenol. couple antacids, see how I feel in the morning, when in fact there may not be a morning for them. Delay can be deadly. Like I told you, dead heart muscle cannot be restored. So people don't call 911, like I said, because they confuse their symptoms. They don't want their neighbors to know what's going on at their house. They don't want their neighbors to know they're being taken to the hospital and their house might be empty. They worry about the cost. These are things that we don't want you to worry about. Your health is more important than worrying about that. So the advantages of calling 911. People don't call 911 because they don't know what we can do. So the ambulance or the pumper will get there within, who knows what our response time here is in KCK? About 3.5 minutes. So you call 911, within 3.5 minutes, you're gonna have a fire truck. There's a paramedic and EMTs on every fire truck. They're gonna get off, they're going to come into your house and they're gonna start taking your vital signs. They're gonna put you on oxygen. They're gonna put you on a heart monitor. They're gonna start checking you out. If the ambulance doesn't come at the same time, they're soon to follow. They're gonna get off. They're gonna come in with more bags. They're going to put you on a different kind of monitor. So they're gonna take 12 pictures of your heart. They're gonna determine if you are in fact having a cardiac event. They're gonna give you aspirin. They're gonna give you nitro. They're gonna start an IV. They're gonna give you pain meds. All of this is happening within 10 minutes. Before they even pull away from your residence, they are on the radio, calling the hospital, telling them that you're having a cardiac event. We run you to the hospital, lights and sirens. We get there, the cardiology team is waiting for us in the garage, and they take us straight to the cath lab. They do not take you into the ER and check you out and stuff. No, they take you right to the help that you need. So some things that we can do to help ourselves. So smoking, that's a big one. If you smoke, quit. I cannot stress that enough. If you have diabetes, what do you think you need to do? Control it. Control it through diet. Take your medicines like you're supposed to. Check your blood sugar on a regular basis. Get the checkups with the doctor. High blood cholesterol. Get to the doctor, get a physical, get that blood drawn. High blood pressure, where can you go to get your blood pressure taken? CVS, fire station, Walmart, Target, they all have the automated blood pressure cuffs. I did speak with the pharmacists and they assured me that they are calibrated and they are accurate. If you don't know what the numbers mean, go up to them, ask them what the numbers mean. If you're overweight, you're gonna have to control your eating, get up off the couch, walk a little bit. So the stuff we can't control. I wish I could, but I can't. Age, we can't control that. If you have a family history of heart disease, you can't control that either. You can just try to live a little bit healthier lifestyle. If you've had a previous heart attack, or you've already been diagnosed with heart disease, you can't change that either. You can just try to get a little bit better from there. Okay, so now I've told you how to help yourselves. Now what are you gonna do if somebody you love, or even a stranger while you're out shopping, falls over unresponsive? What are you gonna do? Call 911. What else are you gonna do? Start CPR, and I'm gonna teach you how to do hands-only CPR in 3 easy steps. So we're gonna check if they're responsive. Hey, are you okay? And you're gonna look to see if they're breathing. So you can do that simultaneously. And you are gonna call 911, or you're gonna tell somebody else, call 911. That's the first step. Step 2, hand placement. You're gonna interlock your hands. The heel of your hand is gonna go on the lower half of the breastbone. Lower half of the sternum. Right here. So you're gonna put your heel of your hand, just like this, right there. Step 3, compressions. I need 100 a minute out of you. That's pretty fast. 100 a minute, at least 2 inches down. So I'm going to show you a little video that's going to demonstrate it for you. Right in front of me. If it was a snake, it would have bit me. Maybe. Oh. I knew this would happen. Okay, well, I had a video for you. And it was a funny one, sorry. If you get the chance, go on YouTube and look up Vinnie Jones. Vinnie Jones was a former soccer player from Great Britain. He was kind of a thug soccer player turned actor. And so he does a little shtick of hands-only CPR. It's very easy, 100 a minute. You're gonna push hard and fast. You're gonna interlock your elbows. You're gonna throw your whole upper body weight into it. And they have to be on a hard surface. And you're gonna keep doing compressions until the ambulance gets there. Hard and fast. So step 1 was what? That's right. Simultaneously, you're gonna check for responsiveness. You're gonna call 911. Step 2 was what? Hand placement. You're gonna interlock your hands. You're gonna push on the lower half of the breastbone. And step 3 was what? 100 times a minute, hard and fast as you can go. So I'm gonna tell you a little bit to top this off about AEDs, automated external defibrillator. Who's ever seen one or used one? Okay. You will find them in the public schools or schools. You will find them at the library. Here in City Hall, they have 1 or 2 on every floor. You will find them in the UG buildings. This is what they look like in the UG buildings. Not every AED looks the same. This is what we carry, and this is what they have in the Unified Government offices. So you have somebody that's gone down. Somebody's doing CPR, somebody comes running up with the AED. You're gonna open it up, and you're gonna find pads inside. They have pictures on them to show you where they go on the chest. It has to be the bare chest. So you're gonna somehow get the shirt up or off, and you're gonna attach these, how the pictures show. You're gonna turn the machine on,
Okay.
and it's gonna talk to you.
Stay calm. Check responsiveness. Call for help. Attach defib pads to patient's bare chest.
So this machine is going to bark at you and tell you to attach the pads until it feels that there's actual skin contact.
Patient's bare chest. Don't touch. Patient. Analyze.
So it's going to tell you hands off. It's going to analyze and see if there's any kind of a heart
Don't
rhythm.
touch. Patient. Analyze. Shock advised. Don't touch patient. Press flashing shock button.
Okay, so you want to, whoever's on this button has a big job. They want to make sure nobody's
Touch
touching this patient.
Press flashing shock button.
And you're going to push the button.
Shock delivered. Start CPR.
And you're going to get right back on and do CPR. These machines are genius. They will not let you shock somebody that does not need it. They will keep prompting you to tell you when to stop CPR so it can analyze to see if that person has a pulse back. So it will talk to you because they know that in the heat of the moment, people get nervous and they forget the steps. So it's going to tell you what to do. Does anybody have any questions? Yep, you were going to just, once it tells you start CPR, you're going right back on the chest and leave the pads on. So when the fire department gets there, if this is the same kind of machine, all we do, unplug it and plug it right into ours. If the AED doesn't look like ours, the only thing we do, we take the pads off and put ours on. So, very simple process. These go hand in hand. It makes sense to have an AED with CPR. It's like jump starting a car. You can't jump start a car that doesn't have fuel in the cylinders. Okay. You can't jumpstart a heart that does not have blood in the coronary arteries. All that CPR you're doing, that great CPR, is getting blood in the coronary arteries so that you can jumpstart the heart. So now you guys know how to save a life. 3 easy steps. That's all it takes. And you're going to call 911. We will be there very fast. So thank you very much for sitting through the class. I hope that you guys enjoyed it. And if you want this class to come out to your community, you just have to call us. So call the fire department or get on our website. On the fire department's website, there's a Heart Safe tab, and you can fill out the form and request a class, and we'll get back with you. So, all right, thank you very, yes. The AEDs range in prices. This one is, I believe, about $1,600. They aren't all like that. They range from several $100s all the way up to something like this. So you can get them very reasonably. And if you're interested in purchasing an AED too, I'd be more than happy to help out and find you one and stuff. So, yes. Yes. Science has shown that you don't need mouth-to-mouth. And this is for adults. I guess I should have started that off. 90% of the time when an adult goes into cardiac arrest, it's because their heart gave out, or their heart gave out before their lungs. So when they go down, they already have oxygenated blood in their body. So we just need to pump it around. And so it's kind of nice that science has shown that, because nobody wanted to do mouth-to-mouth. Nobody wanted to. Yes? No, it will shock as many times as it needs to before the fire department gets there. And these batteries do last quite a while. All of this is covered under the Good Samaritan law. So if you were to go up and start doing CPR and stuff, and you save somebody's life and they try to come back on you, you are completely covered. The CPR, the AED, and you know how to save a life without sitting through a 6-hour certification class now. So, all right, yes?
Could you just demonstrate for us a minute, like what 100 looks like?
Yes, absolutely. So, you know the song Staying Alive? I'm not going to sing it for you, but if you can sing it in your head, I'll sing it in my head. So, yep, and so, I mean, it's, yes, hard, flat surface. If they are in bed, you're going to have to get them to the floor. And it may not be an easy task, but try the best that you can to try to yank them down if you have to use the sheets or whatever, but they have to be on a flat surface or you're not going to be doing any good with those compressions.
And for a woman, I'm presuming you have to take her off.
Yes, yes. And I do have a lot of women say, what? You know, but if you need this machine, if you need these compressions, modesty should be the last thing that you worry about. So, yeah. So you are going to get fatigued. You do get tired. So this gives you a great opportunity. So if you're out at a public place and you're doing CPR on somebody, hands-only CPR, you're getting tired. The more fatigued you get, the less you're doing for this person. So grab somebody, yank them down, and teach them how to do CPR. Hey, I'm going to teach you how to do CPR in 3 easy steps. Get down there, start pushing. So you become the teacher. Great questions. Anybody else? Thank you very much.